special shout out to our sponsor, Qualia. Qualia is the category-creating digital closing platform used by thousands of lenders across the country to seamlessly work with their title and escrow partners. By working better together, Qualia is powering lenders to deliver a differentiated closing experience for their clients. Through real-time communications, closing status updates, and workflow management, Qualia brings lenders together with home buyers and sellers, title and escrow agents, and real estate agents for a secure and seamless closing experience. Qualia is proud to have been awarded the Housing Wire Tech 100 Award for real estate, as well as CB Insights FinTech 250 Award. Discover how you can work more efficiently with your title and escrow partners at qualia.com/innovators. That's QUALIA.com/innovators.
Greetings, everyone. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the Mortgage Innovators Podcast, where we deliver fresh and hopefully fun and entertaining insights on all things mortgage and the innovation that's propelling our industry forward. My name is Margaret Chiavini. I'm with New Res Correspondent Lending, and this week's episode is a Tech Talk. It's a segment from our last year's Mortgage Innovators Conference, where the very famous Alex from Sales Boomerang discusses how data can transform messaging to help increase retention and customer experience. And we all know that retention and customer experience are two of our most important goals. Before we actually get into this episode, I just want to make sure that all of our listeners know that the Mortgage Innovators Conference 2022, which is the power of innovation, is back in person for an experience that you definitely do not want to miss. It's going to be May 2nd through the 4th, 2022 at the Hilton Anaheim. Registration is now live, and information about sponsorship opportunities can be found at mortgageinnovators.com/conference. That's mortgageinnovators.com/conference. We look forward to seeing all of you there.
My name is Alex Kutsishin, co-founder, CEO here at Sales Boomerang. Excited to share a few things about us with you. And what I'm going to do is really quickly talk about Sales Boomerang just for a moment, about sort of who we are, what we represent. Then I'm going to give you a little bit of a look inside the system, and then we're going to get to something really fun. We're going to take a look at a case study of an organization that we did a deep dive into over a course of an entire year of 2020, and show you some interesting discoveries we've made. Really, really fun things. So, Sales Boomerang, as you can see, we start with our mission. Our mission is no borrower left behind. And actually, that's been our mission for the last 3 years. And going into this 4th year, we extended this mission from not just no borrower left behind, but making sure that every borrower is in the best loan for them right now. Okay, and everything we do is to support that mission. And so, look, what you're seeing on screen right now is something very interesting. I got to give credit to one of our clients a few years back for coming up with this, but now, you know, we're sort of talking about this everywhere we go. Larry Messino from Annie Mac said, "Hey, Alex, you're not a nice to have, you're a utility. You're something we must have." So you can see we use the cool utility cards from the Monopoly game. You know, there's electric, there's waterworks, and now there's Sales Boomerang. And it's a utility because, as Larry said it, and so many people say now, when you can put $1 into an investment, right, which an investment in technology is an investment in your business, right? So if you can put $1 into something and get $24 back every time or more, it becomes a utility, right? Because then you can use this investment to build other parts of your business, right? To develop other strategies. And it's having these sort of investments in place and these relationships in place to be able to build your business that way in a healthy way, right? So that's what Sales Boomerang is, right? We're an organization that lets you know when somebody in your database is ready for a loan, which loan they're ready for, and that makes us a wonderful partner and a wonderful utility. And so, look, you know, for the last year or so, we've been talking about that every consumer is going to have 11 mortgage-related transactions in their lifetime, from their first purchase to the last sale. 11 mortgage-related transactions. Here at Sales Boomerang, what we do is we get you in front of that customer for all of those 11. If you meet them on the first one, We want you to get the next 10. It's actually in your best interest and your customer's best interest for you to be the one that takes care of all of those next 10 transactions, right? If you meet them on the 5th one, you get the next 6, right? So what Sales Boomerang does is it promotes those opportunities, bringing you together at the exact right time for your customer. In most cases, you're being proactive. You're getting to the customer before they get to the market, which again is just an incredible experience for your customer, right? It's very important to have a partner like you for a consumer, okay? And so this is exciting too. As we mentioned, you have 11 transactions that your customers are going to go through in a lifetime. The challenge has been, when is the right time to contact my customer, right? But now there's a solution. There's no reason to guess. There's no reason to spam. There's no reason to put your customers in an uncomfortable position, put your team in an uncomfortable position. And the uncomfortable position I mean is, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Borrower, can we help you? Right? You don't even know. So you're calling to ask. Well, let's change that. Now you can call and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, we can help you. And so this is the thing that most lenders, banks, organizations in the financial space don't understand, is how active, how often the people they've done business with or maybe turned down or maybe in their pipeline have actual events happening that change their trajectory of when they're going to need a loan and what kind of loan they're going to need, to a tune of, and you can see here, up to 13.5% per month of your database can have an event. Right? We'll talk to an organization that says, hey, I got 10,000 customers. And we say, great, how many of them have you talked to this month about helping them out? Oh, 13. Okay, great. It should have been 1,300. Okay, could be up to 1,300. And it blows their mind when they see that, right? So with Sales Boomerang, the borrower intelligence system, what it does is it looks for all the different things. You can see them listed here, right? It looks for all the different events that could be happening to get you in front of your customer. And so what I want to talk to you guys about next, you just saw this list of events that could trigger up to 13 different, or 13% of your database could trigger in a single month, which means well over 100% of your database can turn over in a course of a year, which means what? Which means some people are doing things more than once, or some people are in a position to take advantage of the current situation more than one time a year. And so how do we make this happen? How do we drive this? So in the early stages, it was responsive events. Somebody listed their home for sale, somebody, had their credit pulled, but now we want to be proactive. Now we want to get to your customer before your customer gets to the market. And what you're seeing here is the SB brain talking about prescriptive scenarios. And what is prescriptive scenarios? Let's take a look real quick. So what I'm going to show you is where we'd like you and everyone on your team to be. Imagine every morning you give your team a targeted list of people to contact, and every person on that list has a benefit to talk to you. Every single one of them, 100%. No more wasted calls, no more wasted conversations. Very purposeful. You're guiding your clients and you're bringing them advice. Remember, you're advisors. I heard this since I've joined the mortgage industry. All I've heard is we want to be advisors. This makes you an advisor. And so here's an example of a prescriptive scenario. This person here, Anne, is qualified for a cash out, conventional cash out. As you can see, why she's qualified, all of the targets that you've set for this person, they've met all of that criteria: equity, credit, rate, value in the home, all of it. You can see that it checks all those boxes. Now your loan originator picks up the phone, contacts the customer. You're an automated. That's one step, right? You should be emailing, text messaging, doing all the automation possible to get this information over to your borrower. Because look, this borrower may not even be in the market right at this moment. They may not even know that this benefit exists. In most cases, that's what's happening. You are delivering this information to them, right? And so you want some of that automation in place. But here's the idea. Every one of your originators, your teams are now equipped, weaponized with solutions that give you a chance to call your borrower only when they need you, and start to train them, make muscle memory, replace the old muscle memory of don't pick up the phone, somebody's trying to sell me something, to the new muscle memory of pick up the phone because there's a benefit in it for me. Every time the phone rings, it's my lender. I'm like, thank you for calling. Think about that for a second. That's a stark difference than what happens today. Thank you for calling, Mr. or Mrs. Lender. What's the good news this time, right? That's where we want to get this thing to. And for you, lenders and organizations, the ease of use with setting up a prescriptive scenario, something like this, is as easy as saying, hey, who qualifies for this kind of mortgage? What's the criteria they have to meet? And once they check all those boxes, we deliver that for you automatically. And in the near future, you're not even going to have to set the criteria. All you'll have to do is set the benefit. You'll say, let me know when I can cut 3 years off my client's mortgage. Let me know when I can save my borrower $250 a month. And our system will do all the other work for you. It will fill in the criteria, so all that you get is the notification. And then we take it one step further. We want to be able to take somebody's notification and give you some insights about the person, about their buying habits, about how they do things, how long they typically stay in homes, what are they thinking about in regards to a mortgage, and how do they make those decisions, going all the way back to the first loan they've ever done, right? So Victoria here took a loan in 1994, and here's all the history about this borrower that will help you have an intelligent conversation. Okay, so Sales Boomerang, delivering all of the information you need about your customers to make sure they get into the right loan at the right time. But how does this really work? Does it really work? Well, let's dive into what I think is the most fun part of this conversation. The real results, looking at a real client quote that says, all of my branches and managers and loan officers absolutely love it. I constantly hear about their success stories with Sales Boomerang. In 2016, when we were launching a campaign that said the mortgage industry will fall in love, okay, because we're going to launch on Valentine's Day of 2017, there was a loan officer that signed up for that pre-rollout, and she was the first one to send us a check. We launched in February of 2017, Valentine's Day of 2017, and on the 15th there was a check in the mail for us. And so this case study was fantastic for us. There was a little bit of break they took, right, and then they rolled out the entire company. So we're so grateful that they gave us that chance, because here we are today. So let's take a look at this case study, and I'm going to show it to you in a couple of ways so you can see these stats right in front of you right now. And the first bullet point says 9% total applications in 2020 were Sales Boomerang notifications. Now, I actually want to pull up and show you the real case study. This is a case study that's going to be published for everyone to look at. And I wanted to pull up this case study so that you can see the raw content, that you're not just seeing us pull out some of the most meatiest things, but actually, get in and see that there's a lot more that went into this than those couple stats. So first things first, you see a subject line that says, results that speak for themselves. I love this first line. After more than a year of using Sales Boomerang across all 140 producing branches. That is a very important thing for everyone that's on this call and listening, hearing this, to internalize and understand. All 140 producing branches. Not one, not two, not half, not a region, but all. And the reason I'm making such an important point about this is because this is the company investing in retention and borrower experience, in retention and loan officer experience. They're investing in themselves. And by the way, last year, $2 million per month went to the bottom line through Sales Boomerang notifications. $2 million per month. Okay, they are in our 100x club. We have several of them. So their ROI in 2020 was 126x. The year before that, it was in the 70s, right? 70x, 70 plus. So it's not like 2020 is the year that made this happen. They were actually there anyway, right? So a couple more things, and then we'll dive back into the other presentation or the slides. So very important to see here, right? In 2020 alone, right, 9% of all applications were Sales Boomerang notifications. But here's the best part. 16% of all applications turn into deals from Sales Boomerang. So we were 9% of all apps, but 16% of all funded deals. So everyone on this call understands how the stock market works, right? Sales Boomerang outperformed the market. All the applications came from everywhere, referrals, leads they purchased, whatever, right? And we were 9% of that, but we were nearly double the number of conversions, which means we outperformed the market when it comes to closing deals, right? And so it's important to understand that. Why? It may seem surprising, but it's not a surprise. Why is it not a surprise? Because it's your customers. It's your leads, it's your prospects, it's your turndowns. They've heard your name before. There's a trust factor. There's a conversation. There's a memory. There's a recollection. There's something there that you can sink your teeth into as a consumer, that when you hear from someone you've talked to before, there's a little bit more trust and ability to talk a little bit more freely and openly. And so what does that mean? It led to 38% of every notification that Sales Boomerang delivered turned into an application. Think about that for a minute. Course of the year, nearly 40% of every notification that Sales Boomerang served up turned into an application. Hyper relevant information delivered right to your loan officers exactly when they need it, and obviously exactly when the borrower is expecting it. Okay. And of course, the final bullet point there is 13% of those resulted in a funded loan, which is above the average of anything you'll see out there as far as conversions consistently. So that was the most exciting part about this entire presentation, so that we can talk about how good our products are. We can talk about our purpose, our mission, our why are we here? But now you can actually see a detailed case study of how it works, and not just in a small case, but in a really large case, and consistently over and over and over again. And I'll end it with this quote. You can see it on screen, but I'll read it for those of you that might be looking down at your phones and not watching the screen. Many of my loan officers use Sales Boomerang as their main source of leads. I personally don't like the word leads, because we consider ourselves a database referral, right? If right now you're listening to this and the phone rings and it's your agent calling with a referral, you're going to hang up on Alex and you're going to go talk to that agent. Well, you should be doing the same thing with database referrals. It's just as relevant. As a matter of fact, in some cases, in many cases, it's more relevant because we know they're qualified. Thank you again, everyone, for letting me share this with you guys. Appreciate it. And we'll hopefully be talking to all of you soon.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe to the Mortgage Innovators YouTube or wherever you podcast. Until next time.